I'm going to have a video response to the final Panic Index video of this NHL season. And I look at the teams. I look at the Canadian ones. The interesting placement of the Flames on the very bottom row, which is basically acceptance of the lottery team. The Leafs and Canucks in panic territory. All right, we have here. We have the placement of the LA Kings. You have placement of the Jets as kind of in the middle of. Alright, yeah. So in the middle of super super happy and super super panic. The Oilers, third from the top. Oh, looks like the Ottawa Senators and uh, and Habs. And among the Canadian teams, Sens, Habs, and Oilers are in the postseason, while the other Canadian teams did not qualify. So now I'm going to do is I'm going to go to what about Canada's PWHL team? So we're going to take a look at the standings here. Oops. The Seattle Torrent are out. So it still leaves the Golden Eyes, Sirens, Scepters, and Ottawa Charge vying for the final playoff spot. I'm really hoping that it's the Canadian team that does so. But it's looking more likely it'll be the Ottawa Charge or Toronto Scepters, with the two teams scheduled to play each other. Just give me one here. Two more times this month. Or maybe one more time this month. I forget what it is. Oh. So yeah, hopefully the Scepters will bounce back from having been shut out. Got to score multiple goals, but so yeah, there's one more game in the Ottawa Charge Scepters regular season series, but there's still 3 tough games left. Will the Scepters win enough of them to remain in a postseason spot? Guess we'll have to wait and see, but it's been a mixed bag so far this month. The Ottawa Charge is going to go to here. I'm going to focus on the Eastern Canadian teams first. So it's been overall the Ottawa Charge losing regulation, so 1-3. So I would say at a minimum it's time to be concerned. So in terms of the Montreal Victoire, please do keep in mind that I don't know if I will respond to future so-called power rankings videos put up by Shan the Hockey Eye. I find the Panic Index videos quite interesting by contrast. Is there a reason for panic, a reason for concern for the Victoire? Win. It was a narrow win, but with one more game against Boston Fleet, and then 2 other games, both on the road, to end the regular season. So we'll have to see what happens. There's no doubt in the world that that's a very important set of game. We'll try to get for position more than anything else. So that leaves one last Canadian NHL team. So let's take a look here at the Golden Eyes. Alright, well, let's see about the standings. And the Golden Eyes have 30 standings points. That means at most they can earn 9 more. So 39 standings points. At that point, once the 4th place team has earned 40 standings points, Golden Eyes will not get to go in the postseason. New York Stars are also pretty close as well, so let's see how things are going. And yeah, it was hyped up early on in the season, but so close against the Minnesota Frost, but Didn't do anything. So having beaten the Torrent, it'll be one more game against the Torrent. This Saturday's nail time, and then two more games, both at home, and it's going to pretty much the Golden Knights have to run the table to have a chance of seeing playoff action. I don't like the chances, but I don't think it's panic time. The G League Raptors season is over, but when it comes to the NBA Raptors, I'm going to just try to conclude here. If you look at the just give me a moment here. Let's take a look here about the NBA Raptors. So this is the last postseason appearance against 76ers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to against the Cleveland Cavs. So there's a concern about the NBA Raptors about the free throw shooting and that they clinch an automatic playoff spot only on the final day of the regular season. Just give me a moment here while I figure out what's going on. The divisional placement is not really relevant in terms of playoff qualifying because the Raptors. I'm just going to. I don't know what's going on here. Just give me a moment here. There we are. Against the Cleveland Cavs. So they have a 7-game set. First 4 games are known. We have 2 home dates. Hopefully the Raptors will get to work on their free throw shooting and hit at least 80% of the free throws. Problem is, it's hard to know if they will. In any case, definitely looking forward to hopefully the Scepters not being shut out. Well, later on this week, so Saturday Eastern Daylight Time in the afternoon. Against the Cavs on the road, no surprise. The Raptors did finish or the NBA regular season standings. Just give me a moment here. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference. I mean, I know they're Western Conference teams, but the Raptors. What it's going to do is so this is season's over. The Raptors finish ahead of the Atlanta Hawks. So face the Cavs and thus no question about it. Here it's Raptors and Cavs. The Raptors starting on the road, but par for the course because they did not finish in the top 4 of their conference. So now I'm going to do is going to vote upcoming the Under-18 Men's World Television Tournament. Do I have concerns about the Canadian team? Again, we'll have to see what happens. I know there's the Holinka Gretzky Cup that's usually scheduled sometime in August. So, are there concerns that I have about the Canadian team? Just give me a moment here. So, it's going to be various games that are in Central European time. So, it's going to be an afternoon Eastern Daylight Time game next week on Wednesday. So, we'll have to see what happens. And in terms of that team, in the 2020s, which is, we'll go back to, let's see what the team is. There, the men's ice hockey team. Well, 2025 U18. I'm not sure what the roster is going to be, but 2025 Lincoln Gretzky Cup. Look in terms of the okay, we have in terms of the U18 championship. So it was a mixed bag. throughout the pre-2010 2000s and into the 2010s. There were a bunch of finishes outside of the medals, and yeah, 2020 was in the middle of the COVID pandemic, and overall, last 5 tournaments, medals and all, except for that of 2022. But we'll see what happens. And keep going here.